Right now on ABC 10 News at 4 o'clock, we have breaking news out of Lindbergh Field, a near miss between two commercial planes. We have a crew there live with the details. Plus, for now, the state is still keeping its mask mandate until June 15th, despite the new CDC recommendations, and how local restaurants are rolling with the changes. And one local student getting national recognition, how he managed to keep his filmmaking dreams alive while trapped inside by the pandemic.
ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
We begin with that breaking news. The FAA is investigating a near miss involving two commercial flights at Lindbergh Field Thursday night. It involved one plane trying to land and another about to take off. ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl is live now with more on what one expert described as a dangerous close call.
Well, it is business as usual here at the airport this afternoon, but according to the experts we've spoken with and the telemetry data they've reviewed, this was a close call here at the airport last night. A little bit after 10:30 last night, there was an Alaska Airlines flight operated by SkyWest that was coming in for a landing. That plane was coming from Portland. It holds up to 76 passengers, although we do not know at this point how many people were on board. Just a few hundred feet from the ground, we've learned that air traffic controllers told that plane to abort, and that's because there was a Delta flight on the main runway. That Delta flight is a big plane. It can hold up to 234 passengers. It was on its way to Detroit. Radio traffic reveals the Delta flight had been cleared for takeoff, but it was delayed because of a mechanical issue. Flight radar shows the landing SkyWest plane was just 200 feet off the ground when it got the order to go around and to abort. Now, flight radar also showing that this was a very unusual incident because there was full visibility last night. There was no fog, and we spoke with an aviation expert about that.
There's so much electronic equipment available for everything you can think of in both the cockpit of the aircraft and the landing situation. And the main center had handed off, as I said, to the tower. Again, the tower visually had connection with the flight and also with the radar situation. So, again, these situations should not happen.
So eventually the SkyWest flight circled around and landed safely, and the Delta flight safely took off. We have reached out to all of the airlines involved with this. So far, we've only heard back from Delta. They referred us to the FAA, but they did say that their crew followed all of the instructions from the air traffic controllers. The FAA tells us they are still investigating this. In particular, they're investigating how close these planes came. Live at the airport, I'm Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
How close they came and how it happened. Thank you for that live update, Derek. And thankfully, tragedy was avoided last night, but there have been deadly crashes in past years involving similar circumstances. One incident happened in February 1991 when a U.S. air flight collided with a SkyWest plane on an LAX runway. The SkyWest flight was told to taxi into takeoff position on the same runway as the U.S. air flight, which was landing. 35 people were killed in the crash. The NTSB later determined mistakes in the LAX control tower likely led to the tragic accident. ABC 10 News broke this story on the 10 News mobile app. We will continue to dig into the breaking developments throughout the evening, both on 10news.com and, of course, our ABC 10 News newscasts. Businesses are responding to new CDC guidelines about loosening mask requirements, but masks are still mandated in the state of California. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz explains how some restaurants are handling the guidance differently. Jen?
Hey, Kimberly, the California Restaurant Association tells me they've actually seen confrontations at some of their locations today because guests are coming in and they expect to not wear a mask. They're hoping that the state adopts those federal guidelines and drops the mask mandate, but for now, it's creating a lot of confusion for lots of local businesses here in San Diego. New mask guidance from the CDC is sparking confusion in the state of California. The CDC guidance is a recommendation, not a rule, which means state mask requirements still stand, but business owners are interpreting the rules differently.
At the moment, things are firing at us so quick. That decision has yet to be determined for us.
Joey Busalaki with Barbusa in Little Italy says dropping mask requirements for only some people would be hard to enforce.
Basically, the whole issue comes down to is how are we going to decide if someone's vaccinated or not vaccinated? We are going to follow the laws, and we're going to make sure that everyone is safe and feels safe.
State industry guidance for restaurants still requires masks for employees and customers. Other restaurant groups say they're leaving it up to the customer. Puesto owner Eric Adler tells ABC 10 News they will still require masks for employees. He adds it will be up to the guests to follow state and local guidelines. At Barbusa, they say following the rules is in every business owner's best interest.
I don't think anybody wants to get in that predicament where they have to risk something as valuable to them as the liquor license.
Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News. And we reached out to the state liquor licensing agency, and we haven't heard back about how they're going to be enforcing the current rules, but they have said in the past if a business does not comply with state guidelines, they could be at risk of losing their liquor license. Reporting live in Mission Beach, Jennifer Dela Cruz, ABC 10 News.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says the chamber will keep its mask mandate despite new guidance from the CDC. That's because not all House members are vaccinated. The gap is falling on Republicans across the House and Senate. Democrats report a 100% vaccination rate. The rate is about 45% for House Republicans, 92% for senators. Several Republicans say because they were already infected with COVID, they don't want to get the vaccine. With the CDC now saying fully vaccinated people don't need to wear their mask indoors in most places, there are questions about how businesses are going to distinguish between people who are fully vaccinated and those who are not. Some people still feel more comfortable eating outside than inside at restaurants. Before the announcement on masks, a few restaurants started having their workers wear wristbands showing that they've been vaccinated to make customers feel more at ease. The company behind the wristbands say they have a QR code that links to the person's proof of vaccination.
It's intended to cue a kind of value that the owner of the restaurant might have. It's intended to reassure patrons, which is 100% understandable. The challenge, of course, is trusting people to share information that's true and accurate and honest. And that's an individual process. And that doesn't necessarily mean consumers are going to feel assured by that.
Sociology professor Jennifer Reich says people who have been more limited with their social interactions over the last year, well, their transition to post-pandemic life is going to be more difficult. There may be ways you try to access the risk around you.
One is this casual interaction where people can say to each other, in case you feel nervous that I'm sitting next to you at this sporting event, I have a vaccine. And they may, that's a one-on-one kind of communication. And I think that can be really reassuring to people.
There have been rare cases of people who are fully vaccinated getting COVID-19, but studies show if that does happen, those infections tend to be milder, shorter, and harder to spread to others.
Just days after a video surfaced of San Diego police officers taking down a homeless man in La Jolla, local leaders are calling for change. Advocates are calling for full transparency, including police-worn body cameras and dispatch records showing what led to the incident. San Diego police say they approached 34-year-old Jesse Evans because he was urinating in public. In the video, you see officers tackle Evans to the ground and punch him. Evans spoke out today, telling his side of the story.
I hope I'm the last victim of such nonsense to me. That's right. I hope that we can hire reasonable individuals to look out for us and protect and serve our greater good in a better way.
San Diego police say Internal Affairs is investigating the incident. The San Diego County Board of Supervisors is being sued over its extended eviction moratorium that passed earlier this month. The Southern California Rental Housing Association filed the suit in federal court yesterday. Among other issues, the group contends that the ordinance prevents property owners facing hardship from moving back into their very own homes. And the complaint adds that the law strips owners of their federal constitutional rights. The eviction ban is set to go into effect June 3rd and last through August. The Navy has an ambitious plan to transform the old Navwar complex along the 5 into what would become a second San Diego skyline. ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains why the area would be more than just a base.
The long, narrow buildings that stretch down I-5 near Old Town have stood since World War II, when they were a manufacturing plant for the B-24 bomber. These days, it's called NAVWAR, and it's where personnel support the Navy in cyberspace and with manned and unmanned aircraft.
The facility, as you see it behind me here today, is outdated, built in the 1940s.
The Navy has 70.5 acres on 2 sites near Old Town it wants to rebuild with a new base for NAVWAR.
It allows the Navy to get the cyber-secure and safe facilities that we need to do our mission.
But the plans don't stop there. On Friday, the Navy revealed that it would like to develop the site with 10,000 new homes, 2 million square feet of commercial space, 2 hotels, 433,000 square feet of retail, in total 109 buildings, 35 of them high-rise, up to 350 feet tall.
It allows San Diego's to consider whether or not they wanted to a tremendous transit-oriented development on this site to take a big bite out of the housing crisis.
For the next 60 days, the Navy will seek public feedback on its new environmental study, which also presents less intense versions of redevelopment. The Navy is also leaving open the possibility of Sandag's long-term goal of developing a central mobility hub that would help connect San Diegans to the airport. The two agencies are working together to explore putting a mobility hub on site. The Navy's preferred plan includes a transit facility, which has the potential to become that mobility hub. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
The project would be built out over 30 years, with the new NAVWAR base going up within the first 5 years. A spokeswoman for the Navy noted that the images are computer simulations. They do not reflect any actual project proposals. And Governor Gavin Newsom submitted his final budget proposal to state legislature today. It consists of over $267 billion for the 21-22 fiscal year. And part of the budget includes about $20 billion in what the government called immediate relief for Californians. Of that, $12 billion is set aside for $600 stimulus checks that is said to reach 2 out of 3 Californians. And that includes an extra $500 for families with children.